But the manosphere is not discussing that because they're so consumed with these cultural grievances. Trump is still able to whip his base into a frenzy about cultural grievances, even though this is the most openly fascist our country has been, I would say, in at least 100 years. I'd really say probably since the Civil War era. We have not had this close to open fascism in this country in a very, very long time. And you still have people like Bill Maher going to the White House, basically licking Trump's boots, being like, you know who we have to stand up to? Wokeness, political correctness, the radical left. Who the fuck you talking about? Paramount and ABC, who are being sued by Trump, whose FCC goon, Brendan Carr, is over there threatening to take their licenses away. He's trying to tell media outlets what they can and can't say. MSNBC fired Joy Reid. CNN fired Jim Acosta. They've already fired Don Lemon. What liberals are you fucking talking about at this moment? The media has never been more right-wing. We barely hear stories get reported on. If they ever do, it's a couple mentions, then they fade away immediately. The New York Times is still dominated by conservatives like Brett Stevens and Ross Dohart. Universities are being muscled in on, and what can you teach, what can't you say? Act Blue is being sued by the Trump administration. There is no left wokeness stopping this and that. He's like, nobody's ever been fired in the media for being too woke. Tell that to Joy Reid. Tell that to Don Lemon. Tell that to Jim Acosta. What the fuck are you talking about? Every day we see more liberal people being pushed out of the media, and the fact that people can make bad faith arguments and that they're like, let's sit down with Steve Bannon. It was bad enough that Bill Maher was sane-washing Trump and talking about, he's not as crazy as I thought he was. Why do you say that, Bill? He asked me what I thought about the Iran deal. He's like, you're a smart guy. What do you think about Iran? What do you think about Israel? The fact that he asked you that shows that he is butt fucking nuts. You're a talk show host. You're a fucking washed up 80s comedian whose brain is fried from drugs, and you've had a fucking talk show for 40 years. You never had a credible job doing anything else. You don't fucking know anything about policy or ambassadorships. The fact that you're in the White House and the president is like, what do you think about Israel? What do you think about Iran? And that you're such a narcissist that you don't know. That's why he's doing it. He's flattering your narcissism and treating you like a smart guy, treating you like, oh, here's someone who should be listened to. Here's someone that's really brilliant and probably knows about policy. And you think, this proves the president's not crazy. It just shows that he is fucking nuts, and you're too narcissistic to know that or see that because he's flattering you a little bit. This is what all dictators do in these countries, where they treat the press like they're buddies, they're buddying up, they butter them up, and then you slowly soften everything you've ever said about Trump. You do exactly what you did, which is like, who did he have on that night? Piers Morgan and Steve Bannon. Two people that fucking love Trump. One of them who's literally his propaganda minister in Steve Bannon. Who did he have on his Club Random podcast? Charlie Kirk. You're just lying to people. You were a never Trump Republican in the Biden administration. You hit Democrats 10 times harder than you ever did anything Trump was doing during the entirety of the Biden administration. You became a never Trump Republican the second you got glasses on. And now you're not even that. Now you're MAGA, but you don't have the balls to say that because you know that half of your audience will be like, oh, I can't watch this. This is Fox News. If you'd said, I'm not a liberal, I'm MAGA, and Trump's pretty good, and he's doing things I want to do, like get rid of the Department of Education and stop DEI and stop wokeness, everybody would say, oh, wait, you're a 70-year-old bigot, and I'm not listening to this shit anymore, and they'd turn the channel. And then you'd have nothing but the young white men, the horde, who have been brainwashed from YouTube videos to be like, Bill Maher's awesome. He has a real conversation on. He's not just repeating the echo chamber. Why do they say that shit? Because he has Steve Bannon on, and Ron DeSantis, and Ted Cruz, and Elon Musk, and he flirts with them. They laugh, they have a good time. He sane-washes these people to an audience they would never be exposed to. Those people go on Fox News. Liberals are not watching them. Independents are not watching them. They go on Bill Maher. He's exposing their bullshit to a wider audience and sane-washing it so that it looks reasonable. Well, Ron DeSantis isn't all that bad. He went on Bill Maher. He kept incrementally doing that until he gets to the alpha and omega, Trump himself, the 800-pound Mussolini in the room, and being like, hey, Trump's not that bad of a guy. You know, we laughed. We had a few jokes. He wasn't as crazy as I thought he was. Like a week later, he goes on an Easter rant talking about all the liberal lunatics and the people he hates on Easter Sunday, a rant so venomous it killed the Pope. All these memes, too, about did J.D. Vance kill the Pope? He meets with the Pope, and then 12 hours later, the Pope is dead. You have to think, man, Vance is on a real hot streak. Vance, of course, got picked for the vice presidency because he would help Trump relate to that younger male base. It was all about bringing in that hillbilly elegy audience. I've talked about this, where the Republican National Convention, it was a white trash kid's dream. Hulk Hogan and Dana White and Kid Rock and hillbilly elegy dude. Like, just give me some nachos, man. This is great. Like, all they needed was some monster trucks going on in there. Wrestling match, which Trump's been big into UFC and pro wrestling. It's very targeted towards young men. And so now in a country where it's fool's paradise, no country for smart men, where do the smart guys go? You got RFK Jr. pumping obvious bullshit science. You got Pete Hegseth being like, we got to get rid of the wokeness and the DEI hires as he fires the female Coast Guard chief, but she sure as hell looks more qualified than you do right now. I'm half convinced that's why Bill Maher went to the White House, because when Pete Hegseth fires, Trump will hire him to be Secretary of Defense. When RFK Jr. fucks up, he'll hire him to be the Secretary of Health. Bill Maher's on TV. I like people that are on TV. He's got 5 Fox News hosts in his administration. So Bill Maher been on TV. He's on TV. He's good enough for TV. He can be the Secretary of Housing. That sounds good. So whenever somebody fucks up, he can snag one of those jobs. I'm half convinced that's why he went there.